Hi, welcome to How Not to Journal, episode 3. Today we're going to be breaking down the editing behind For Her. It's a weird edit. I'm going to warn you now, I don't condone doing any of the things that I did. I don't actually think some of this is a very good solution, but it's where we've ended up. I'm usually a very structured editor. I'm very organized. A lot of my client and commercial work is structured to be able to take a lot of amends from clients. And with this, I tried to sort of let go of that a little bit and try and be really creative, which meant I did things that maybe I kind of regret. I don't really know, but we've ended up where we've ended up, and I think it looks pretty, which is the end goal of this series. So, with that being said, let's break down the edit of For Her. My editing process for this kind of thing is pretty consistent until we get into the creative side of it. Firstly, I do a sift of all of my footage. For this, I wanted to break it down so that it's not too overwhelming. With this, so sifting all the piano, we are making sure this all aligns with the music. So this whole take is just all on camera. And then I have gone along and I have changed the bits that I like to green. So we have this take. I can take moments that I like. So here seems nice. Cool. And I'll go back and I'll hit 1 to turn that to green because those are my labeling shortcuts. And I did that for each layer. So I sync each layer, take the bits I like, and I end up with this weird little green-blue type thing. And then literally what I did was I removed all the blue. So then you end up with this. For those eagle-eyed, we have a sift/drunk. Did that at 1 a.m. the day of the shoot. It was very fun. So this piece is broken down into a narrative intro, a narrative outro, and then a dance concept video in the middle. The dance concept video in the middle we shot with a hand model. We then have my other brother subbing in as a body double. So we have shots of him and the dancer, and then we have shots of just the dancer. So we have Sift.org opening, Sift.org piano, and then we have Sift.org dance, which I did the exact same process for the piano. These bits here, this was a part of just a regular sift. So if I'm doing a B-roll sequence or a cinematic sequence for a client or something, what I'll do is I'll take everything, go along, and I'll pancake sift. So I'll take all of my footage onto a timeline, and then go along, hit A, take the bits I like, drag them onto the second layer, delete everything else. So I have this sort of layer of just footage that I like. It's just all bangers, and I think I used this to build our sort of faster section in the second half of the piece. So you end up with these Sift.orgs. From there, I duplicate our Sift.org and I do an edit of each section. Now, something I would say to all editors everywhere, if I was to actually give some advice, I would say, don't be afraid to duplicate a timeline. There's no point in losing the opportunity to go back a step, and it means that you can be really, really free with what you try to do next. From here, we then go into our main edit, which has everything. What I did that I think I regret, I'm not sure if I do regret it because I think it was fun, but I actually brought in the nested sequences of the edited things. And I know some people at home right now, like editors watching this, you're like, why did you do that? You now can't control the grade. You now can't go back and forth between like changing your clips actually in that timeline. You're right. This is maybe something I regret in this process. Maybe it's not the most efficient workflow, and it does take away opportunities in this timeline, but you can still do it in other timelines. Now, the cool thing is that if you take edit dance and edit piano, these two can straight away start syncing up with the music. But these are now synced up, and you can now treat them as just 2 new videos. Again, I don't have a problem with using scene edit detect on a nested clip. I don't know what's wrong with that. This whole sort of process came around because I was like, I kind of want to make this as not overwhelming as possible. There's a lot of footage, a lot of options, and this is a piece that I really, really love. And so I really wanted to take some of that stress out of my hands so that it was just a really, really nice experience to make it. So just keeping it easy for myself, take some of the pressure off. And this definitely did that. So from there, started editing, deleting bits that I wanted, bits that I didn't want, and I got to this stage in the edit. From here, I then built the outro and built in our little match cut that we shot that you would have seen in episode 1. Let's break down this final edit. So This adjustment layer here, we had noise that we added over top, and we had another little luminance thing. I'm not really sure what that is. It's on a 13%. This is proper like look grade vibe stuff. The reason there's a double here is we actually created a halo. Yeah, sure, why not? Kind of like a vintage film look and feel. The way we did this is, what we have on this layer is a red layer. So I use Lumetri to literally just take out everything but red. I threw a tiny bit of blue back in because I wanted a bit more purple. So I turned this red. I had a mask here, just because I didn't want the middle. I wanted a bit of a focus on the middle, so I didn't want to have an aberration in the center. And then I added a blur. And then from there, we use lighten on 80%. So if we normal that, and we add the clip underneath, we're just looking at this, it looks like maybe Dragula did something. Adding lighten means something. It means we get this halo effect. I was trying to figure this out for ages, and I think it looks pretty cool. So I added it over all of the scenes in the house. There's this, which is our like main grade. When I take all my footage in, I use the CST built into your footage organizer. CST, for those of us who don't know, is color space transform. DaVinci made it really, really good. And then Adobe did this, which is actually a very useful workflow. Tempted to go back to DaVinci. Talk to me about it in the comments. So I've done both. Some are like, oh, you should grade in DaVinci and edit in Prem. I don't know. Let's take this clip. You can go into modify color, and you can override media color space and change the color space. Yeah, so we've added this sound design. What have we got? We've got a couple of risers found online, a little reverb, a little breath. And then again, here we've added in some sound design. So we've got these low rumbles. Kind of, I started wanting to try and take us to like a different plane here. Not that means anything, but we have some like screams, some reverby screams. We have this sort of shaking, wobbling, low feel. And I feel like it makes it not listening to music anymore. You know what I mean? What does that mean? It means nothing. But I think it does do that. I actually stand by it, but I don't know what it means. You know what I mean? And then we come through, we have a nice match cut. We have this low rumble again. Straight into our Atmos. I believe this is a little bit louder, just to sort of remind us that we're out. Quite a simple video. It's not needing a ton of stuff, but allowing a creative freedom by facilitating a strict process for a starting thing, I think makes sense. So a sift, a sifty org, and then diving into some edits can really help you get started as well. Because that's the other thing. Starting an edit is really, really difficult, very, very scary. And when you have lots of things looking at you, so much footage, timelines, music, intro, outro, credits, it's easy to just get overwhelmed. So yeah, make it easy for yourself. So I do want to talk about the editing between the dancer and the pianist. So we're going to open with the hands because we're trying to tell a story of she's in his mind or something like that. He's primary, she's secondary. So then we move into that different world with the dolly zoom. From there we see them together. Really nice motion cut, using us to take us around the piano. The drop frame there because optical flow hasn't rendered. This shot, beautiful, getting her in the music. And then from there we leave it to go and join her. When editing dance, you want to either cut on big movements or a motion. So there we're cropping in, we're wide, we crop in, we let that moment breathe, we go back to him. I'm sorry, I love this dance so much. Marks, you're amazing. Just seeing the hand there, repeating. From here, this is just chaos. Boom. So I'll be vulnerable and honest, guys. The second I added her back in to this last section, I was like 3 hours deep into an editing hole. and I cried. We're going to actually dive into some dance editing here. I was a dancer before I was a videographer, and so a lot of my concepts around editing and shooting come from dancing first. So here, she leaves frame left, and so we start going left, and then we keep her spin consistent. Because if she then span the other way, that would be weird. From here, we're out on Marg's, come out from her face, and then go in on the daughter. From here, we use Marg pushing us right. The hair flick goes right. So we go right, then she moves right. She goes left, then we're still moving right. So this is a conflict. That's what we're saying with that. We're in tune, we're out of tune. And then from here, this is also moving right. So we use that to create chaos. Just this one clip here creates the chaos there. But then we join it again. Back to left, to then go left again. Left, left. And then from here, we throw ourselves, this is a float. So then we can go right again. Camera's still moving left. And then that allows us to move left with her body. As you can see, she's moving left in the end of that clip. Left. And then the camera's moving left. So it's a lot of like movement-based stuff. For me, what gives it its flow and its story within itself. There we're in, out, shake all about, right? And then from here we spin, leg comes out, that's a reflection from the earlier movement. It's still spinning the same direction, which then allows us to go back to that clip, to then come down. This is down, and then that's down. So those are both down. Consistency and movement, either with camera or with talent, I would say is what helps you tell a story and makes the difference between a hard and a soft cut. Hard and soft cuts come from so many things, but when you're looking at it with movement, if something's moving the same way, it's going to be softer. If it's moving a different way, it's going to be harder. And I think that that's just quite an easy way to figure out where should I cut next when you're working with something like dance. Super proud of that section, actually. We have the daughter looking right, and then Margie's looking left. So hopefully they're looking at each other, and the dad's just looking at the music. Again, the same happens here. Margie's looking left, daughter's looking right. Keeping their eyes in the same place. Something I heard very early on in my editing days is that it takes 4 or 5 frames for the human eye to figure out what they should be looking at. And so if you're looking to do quick cut sequences, you want to keep your tracking in the same place. So we have an eyeball here, and we have an eyeball here. So I was about to use my hand. Eyeball is there, eyeball is there. So then we can cut between them, and the human brain will keep up. So then we can use that to make lots of faster sequences, which is how we tell a lot of this story. Again, she's jumping. Where she's jumping here is where he is next. So she's jumping into him. Those are sort of the only real editing techniques that I used in terms of editing on there. Other than that, it's just trying to tell the story as best you can and pick stuff that looks pretty, shoot stuff that looks pretty, pick stuff that looks pretty. So, yeah. And then edit it together. It's an oversimplification, of course. This took, a good 4 sessions. More than that if you actually include organization and sifting and stuff like that. What is up with her ankle? Looks like she's about to stack it. Jesus. Okay, so that about wraps it up for the edit of this video. It's one that I'm super proud of. It's a little bit janky, but I think that's part of a creative process and part of letting go of maybe being too structured when being creative. Art's meant to be wild, so do it weirdly. I hope it was useful if you're a video editor. I hope it was interesting if you're not a video editor. And we're going to try and do this kind of project, shoot one maybe once a month. Not going to promise that, but I'm going to try. Because I loved doing it. And I hope you loved watching it. Go out there and make some pretty stuff. Appreciate it. ASMR, ASMR, ASMR.